start doing your blueprint. Macam tak tahu how to do it, macam nak start over it. So I love to do the discussion. So my kind of discussion is that I will brief like how the step of doing it dalam bentuk slides and then present a bit and then you discuss together with your group. Okay, so my point is I do like record those I would say briefing macam a bit briefing of all the plan, administration, marketing, operation and also finance. Do you prefer to listen to the recording or we have meet online? Which one do you prefer? So Amirul said recording. What about the rest of you? Abdullah?
I would prefer recording.
Okay, because for me, kalau recording tu, you can listen whenever you want and then boleh lagi like kadang-kadang kita macam meet ni akan macam ada internet connection kacau semua kan. So I will leave it to you. Okay, there will be like next week I'm gonna have like another chapter to be covered. Lepas tu I will post the discussion and then I will post the discussion for each of the plan and then you discuss. So the following week kalau ikutkan lesson plan we're gonna have discussion on the marketing, betul ke? Marketing and financial lebih kurang lah the other two. So I will not make any classes and leave it to you space for you to do the discussion. Are we okay with that? Okay, tapi still you have to fill in the attendance lah. We will consider it as the class is ongoing tapi you do in terms of discussion. Alright, so dah habis kat situ, explanation pun dah habis. Now we're going to proceed with kita terpaksa cover 2 chapters today, which is chapter 9 and also chapter 5. Why do we need to cover these 2 chapters? Because satu, kita nak kena kejar masa, and another one, if I do not brief you ataupun discuss with you with chapter 5, which is the blueprint punya chapter, nanti you akan jadi lambat untuk start discuss with your blueprint. Okay, so nak tak nak I have to discuss with the blueprint first, baru boleh start discuss untuk buat. Alright, so are you guys ready to start with the class? We start dengan financing dulu, baru blueprint.
Boleh, Miss.
Okay, kejap ya saya share slide. Okay, boleh nampak ya slide?
Boleh,
Miss.
Okay, let's begin. In order to develop new technology-based product, kita tahu that there is a need sufficient of fund ya sebab cost develop and then also launching the product requires 10 to 20 times higher than the cost of initial research and development. So for today, we're going to discuss in details of what financing technology venture is all about. Okay, introduction. A technology venture can only grow as fast as its capital allows. Okay, meaning to say here, if you have insufficient fund, then there is no way you can develop your technology into the final product. As we know, everything needs money. You can buy for the resources, especially the AI. Yeah, that is why if you have enough or slightly more funds, you'll be able to develop your product into the final form. Generally, capital can be obtained from at least three categories of resources, either solely or a combination of the three, which is number one is entrepreneurs' own resources. Yeah, your own resources macam you punya simpanan, yeah, like your savings. Resources from external investors, yeah. Contoh investors ni macam investment daripada investors luar. That is not the one that you don't know of. Yeah, government financing schemes, loans, grants, and government venture capital fund. So ini adalah salah satu inisiatif kerajaan bagi kepada setiap entrepreneur untuk advancing to the next phase. Eventually, internal generated revenue will provide the operating capital for the venture. So bila once all of these early investment of the money to your venture, when it generated some revenues, it will help to circulate, yeah, the overall operating capital so that your business will be expanded naturally. Availability of finance. The availability of finance is a key factor in the development of new technology-based ventures. So the most important thing before starting any of businesses, when you want to start a business, you will have to know where you can find a fund to develop your business if lagi-lagi bila you are having a fund deficiency. However, entrepreneurs with technology-based ventures can face major challenges for financing the startup and operating capital needs of these venture. So it is the common challenges for technopreneurs to start their venture because of the uncertainty of the successful event of their new technology-based product. Since investments in technology-based ventures carry significant risk, the investors' expectation of returns on their investments can be high. So, sebab teknologi tu baru kan, bila benda yang baru, it will be something that is a bit unfamiliar. So, many investors will be unsure to do any investments because kalau let's say the technology faces any failure, then the investment will also go south. Okay, now moving on with the need for finance. It is important that as part of the business blueprint, the entrepreneurs identify and also quantify their financing needs. So they will need financing for some or all of the following reasons. For the first reason would be in determining the startup cost. So the initial investment into the business might include, so the initial investment will be like the early capital for your business, that you need to invest, or which might include the one-time startup costs, macam research and development costs, incorporation costs, rental and utility deposits, fixtures and equipment, and renovation. Maksud kat one-time startup cost ni, the cost that only incurred once, throughout your business. Usually activities which involve R&D, renovation for your plant, because this kind of thing you do not like do it every month or for every year. Initial working capital, inventory, rent, utility, advertising, and office supplies. The cost that you need to pay in order to start your business, macam you kena bayar sewa, kena bayar bill elektrik, ataupun your office supplies to make it looks like an office. Okay, the second need is the shortfalls of revenue over expenses. Even before the business becomes profitable, the entrepreneurs will still need to pay the suppliers and fixed costs of running the business. So in the early stage in venturing business, encountering loss is very normal. So there is where a need for financing takes place. But you still kena bayar the suppliers and all of the other fixed costs for your business. Sebab masa ni, dekat level ni ataupun stage ni, you have yet earned any profits. Fixed asset replacement, eventually the fixed assets will break down or become obsolete, and the entrepreneurs will have to reinvest in new fixed assets. So over time, you punya fixed asset macam perabot, your furniture, your machinery, and vehicles may break down. So the financing yang you buat ni, yang you plan earlier, will eventually help to reinvest your new fixed asset. Tak adalah baru nak kerut tabung, nak beli fixed asset ataupun some of the business sampai dah tak boleh duduk dah financial dah. So terlalu teruk, tak boleh nak guna dah. because they didn't plan earlier how to allocate those funds to your fixed costs. Growth expansion of current operations may meet additional costs related to such costs as advertising, payroll, warehousing, or research and development. So your initial operation may expand as your business is growing. So you need to assign funds towards additional costs, much advertising, your employees' salaries, or even when you have to do the R&D for your new products ataupun for your improved products. Okay, now moving on with the methods of financing. The choice of financing method is an important determinant of whether an idea or product can reach the market quickly and successfully. So you can pilih which of the methods of financing suit the best. You have to choose wisely as it will decide whether your product will eventually make it into the market quickly and successfully ataupun tidak. The nature and sources of finance for technology-based ventures will vary through the business development process. So depending on the business development process, you punya source of finance tu akan berbeza-beza. Alright, the financing of this process requires a series of injection of money, and failure to finance adequately any part of the process may cause the business to fail. So you will need to supply money in this process, and kalaulah you are not wise and careful enough in assigning your finance averagely, and it will contribute to your business failure. Okay, stages of financing. Generally, funds for technology ventures are raised in stages. Staging of financing allows investors to deal with the uncertainty of the validity of the idea and the untested nature of the management in the company. So stages ni, bracket ni will help technopreneurs to start financing their ventures carefully so that they will know how to overcome if there is any uncertainties coming along or during the business operation. So financing stages are typically tied to the following stages of business development: research and development in the stage of pre-seed financing, pre-commercialization in the seed financing stage, commercialization in the first round financing stage, growth and expansion is in the second and third round financing. Okay, diagram ni, this diagram shows the stage of financing. You can see that you will start with the first stage, which is pre-R&D and R&D, where at this stage you're going to pre-seed your financing. After that, you will go to the second stage, which is pre-commercialization, where you will have to seed your financing. And then in the commercialization stage, you will need to do the first round financing, and the last stage, which is the growth and expansion stage, you will have to do the second and third round financing. So nampak macam banyak sangat kata financing tu, you sound so confused with all the terms. Don't worry as we're going to discuss each of the stages in the details. Okay. Now we're going to the stages, the first stage of financing, which is pre-R&D and R&D stage. Okay, in this stage, you're going to do the pre-seed financing. Yeah, a relatively small amount of capital is provided to an inventor or entrepreneur to prove a specific concept for a potentially profitable business opportunity that still has to be developed and proven. The funded work may involve product development as opposed to pure research, but it rarely involves initial marketing. Bila you start a new business, pre-seed will be the first stage of funding which helps your business ataupun your startup to grow. When you are in the middle of developing a startup, obtaining funding that will assist with your development is the most important part in creating a company. Kat stage ni we always focus on the development of the product and sangatlah jarang involving the initial marketing. So dalam buat financing ni, don't never rush into things. Okay, now moving on with the next stage of financing, which is pre-commercialization stage. So in this stage, you will need to do the seed financing. Financing is provided to newly formed companies for use in completing product development and in initial marketing. These companies may be in the process of being organized or may have been in business a short time. The seed capital is used to support the initial company's operation. Contohnya macam you akan gunakan untuk to be spent on market research ataupun in the initial steps of product development, especially bila dekat di mana you will need to create a prototype. So at this stage, your business is in the process of being organized ataupun your business is even already on the run in a short time. In either case, products have yet to be sold commercially. Generally, such businesses have assembled key management, have prepared their initial business plan, and have conducted at least initial market studies. So your products are not in the market yet, yeah, as you are still in preparing to market your product, and also you are still in the initial stage of market research. Okay, in the commercial stages, you also will do the first round financing. Yeah, financing is provided to companies that have expended their initial capital and now require funds to initiate commercial scale manufacturing and sales. Yeah, at this stage, financing is needed for you to start commercializing your product in the market. So this is where you are already in the process of initiating your product commercialization. Okay, in the path of growth and expansion stage, you will do the second round financing. Working capital is provided for the expansion of a company which is producing and shipping products and which needs to support growing accounts receivable and inventories. Although the company clearly has made progress, it may not yet be showing a profit at this stage. So dekat stage ni, when your business is showing more positive response from the public, yeah, where you started to produce more products based on the demands, and there is growing number of inventory. So walau bagaimanapun, walaupun dah nampak macam public well receiving from the public, dah ada demand yang banyak, ya, it doesn't conclude that your business will be showing any profit sebab masih awal lagi untuk for you to identify your profit. Okay, dekat stage, at the same stage, you will need to do probably you need also to do the third round as financing. Funds are provided for the major expansion of a company which has increasing sales volume and which is breaking even or which has achieved initial profitability. Funds are utilized for further plant expansion, marketing and working capital, or for development of an improved product, a new technology or an expanded product. Like, so dekat stage ni, you'll see your business is growing and also expanding vastly as there are an increasing number of sales volume, and you also may want to expand your plant ataupun do more marketing for your products ataupun develop your product to the improved versions. Nah, juga develop your new technology or even to the point to do some line extension for your products. Right now, this will show you the clearer view of the stages of financing and the sources of each stages. So, as you can see there, we acquire funds from internal financing, yeah, like from ourselves, daripada saving persimpanan kita, ataupun from our family members and relatives, and even our friend, yeah, during the pre-seed financing and seed financing. Angel financing and government financing schemes may be acquired from the first stage to the last stage. So venture capital started from seed financing stage until second round and third round financing. And lastly, banks and DFIs. DFI is Development of Finance Institution, will be the source of finance for the last stage of financing. So sekarang ni, let's go to one by one of all the sources of financing there for your better understanding. Okay, now sources. The first source of financing is self, relatives, and friends. During the early stage of business development, the entrepreneur has access to established sources of external finance is very limited. Hence, most entrepreneurs rely on their own resources supplemented by funds from relatives and friends. So dekat stage ni, since your business is relatively new, it would be so hard to convince outsiders to invest to your business. So you can provide your own resources, and that will be supported by your relatives and also your friends. The entrepreneurs' own resources include not only their personal savings and assets, but also their debt capacities in obtaining limited amounts of external finance. So debt capacity refers to the total amount of debt your business can incur and repaying, and you have to repay according to the terms of a debt agreement. So dalam kata lain, it is the amount that you can borrow without putting your company in a financially bad situation. The second source of financing is angel financing for a new venture based on concepts that require lengthy development efforts. The earliest source of outside financing can be provided directly by private investors, meaning to say the wealthy individuals. So, bila your business is very new, it is hard to acquire investments from the outside dia, macam established company ataupun government fund ataupun even bank loan. So you may require funds from private investors, meaning to say individuals who are wealthy dalam you punya circle, dalam kalangan yang you kenal, ya, to start investing some funds to your business, because the one that very close to you and know you well, they were very confident that you will go well with the business. So eventually they will start to invest some of the money into your business in the starting of your business. The circle angels or business angels tend to behave like business partners. They bring with them experience, knowledge and capital to the business. So diorang ni selalunya kalau orang panggil business, oh this is my business partner. So dia juga boleh dipanggil as your business angel, ya, sebab they are the among fund contributors to your business. So selalunya when you want to find a business partner atau business angels ni, you mestilah cari someone that already gear up with experiences, with the knowledge, ya, ataupun skill, ataupun even their know-how on the capital to the business. The third source of financing is government's financial assistance. Okay, government's financial assistance to technology-based company can be classified into two groups, which is government funding schemes and grants. And then most funding schemes and grants for technology venture are channeled through MAFCA, MDAC, Mtdc, MOSTI, and also SME Corp. This is where you're going to learn towards the end of the slide, mana apakah jenis-jenis funding schemes that all of these will offer. The fourth source of financing is venture capital ataupun VC financing. So VC financing has tremendous potential in Malaysia to contribute to the growth of technology and knowledge-based ventures. The formal venture capital industry in Malaysia began in 1984 with the establishment of Malaysian Ventures Berhad. So individuals yang provide money or capital to your business is what we call as venture capital. So venture capital adalah someone that willing to risk investing in your company, knowing your business is still new, yeah, because he or she can earn massive return on the investments, yeah, if your business is a success. In terms of the stages of financing, most investments made by Malaysian venture capital companies, VCCs, have been in the growth or expansion stage. So investments in the seed and startup stages are less than 10% of total investment. The last source of financing is banking and development financial institutions, DFIs. Banking institutions and DFIs have been providing financial facilities to small and medium enterprises, SMEs. However, commercial banks and DFIs typically do not invest in startup technology-based companies because of the high level of risk of the business and the absence of a track record in terms of assets, profits, and positive cash flow. Okay, so boleh nampaklah kat sini ya, why in the early stage of financing, it is not easy to acquire investment from banking institutions ataupun daripada DFIs ya. It is all because of the uncertainty and the high level of risk of your business, as your business has not provided a good financial record yet. Okay, what it is. Government financing schemes for technology venture in Malaysia, main agency that provide government financial assistance. So this will be the main agency that provide government financial assistance. Malaysian Venture Capital Management Berhad atau MEVCAP, the financing schemes that they offer macam Axiata Digital Innovation Fund, ada ACM Stretch Fund and also Gobi Fund 3. For Multimedia Development Corporation ataupun MDEC, the funding scheme yang paling famous that they have is Development Fund. Malaysian Technology Development Corporation MTDC, the financing schemes that they offer macam Technology Acquisition Fund and Commercialization of Research and Development Funds. CRD. Okay. Halal Technology Development Fund, ya, Business Startup Fund, ada Business Growth Fund, ada Business Expansion Fund. Okay, Ministry of Science, Technology and Innovation, mostly the financing scheme that they have are SMART, yeah. I think it's Smart Challenge Fund. Okay, and then also InnoFund, International Collaboration Fund, SCF. SME Corporation Malaysia, SME Corp, formerly known as SME DEC, ya. Finance scheme yang diorang offer yang selalunya ada syariah compliant. SME financing scheme ataupun SME emergency fund and also SME investment program, SIP. So SIP ni is the most program that many SME will be joining. Okay, so kita pergi pada MEVCAP dulu ya. The first financing scheme is from the Malaysian Venture Capital Management Berhad ataupun MEVCAP. As a unique venture capital company, MEVCAP is committed purely to the technology sectors and will invest in mix of local and overseas business to bring together a successful blend of technologies and entrepreneurial skills. So MEVCAP ni usually offer a venture capital untuk business yang involved in technology ya, and that will invest both in local and overseas business, so that will bring out the best of technology and also entrepreneurial skills. Okay, MEVCAP will focus the investment in the following areas, which are in the areas of communications and networking, electronics, semiconductor, internet, information technology, biotech and life sciences, medical and health services, and device or equipment, or other new areas of high growth. Now, there are two types of funding that MEVCAP offers, which are seed venture fund and also direct venture fund. So, seed venture fund is for the idea ataupun pre-startup stage, and direct venture fund pula for startup, early growth, expansion, rapid, and mature growth stage. Okay, for the seed venture fund from the MEVCAP, it is from the stage of idea or pre-startup. Yeah, the fund focuses particularly on startup and early stage high growth companies, bring them to fruition through its service-oriented approach of partnership investment. So size of direct investment ni untuk startup adalah between 50,000 ringgit to 500,000 ringgit. Kalau ada dan startup early stage high growth ni ranging from 500,000 ringgit to 10 million ringgit. Okay, and then Cradle Investment Program, CIP. The objective of CIP is to generate ICT, biotechnology, and high growth areas and new areas of growth in the field of science and technology with interesting, innovative idea and technology. So this program will focus more on the field of science and also technology. So CIP provides pre-seed funding of up to 50,000 ringgit for the development of prototype, proof of concept, or the preparation of business plan. It makes the idea more valuable to the venture capital and later stage funding. Kalau you nak buat prototype for your technology-based product, so CIP will help you to provide the fund. Okay, from MAVCAP, there are also the schemes that they offer, which is University Cradle Investment Program ataupun kita panggil UCIP. UCIP works together with researchers in public and private universities and colleges. The primary aim of UCIP is to facilitate the transformation of research outputs into marketable product or services as first step in the commercialization. So, this program added to help the transformation of your research outputs into marketable products ataupun services. To this end, UCIP specifically funds the development of prototypes, proofs of concept, and the preparation of business plan. UCIP provides VC funding of up to 500,000 ringgit Malaysia. Okay, now moving on with the next financing schemes daripada MDEC ataupun Multimedia Development Corporation. MDEC has been entrusted to manage the following funding scheme and grant and oversee the progress and completion of funded projects, which are ada dua ya, the AMC Malaysian R&D Grant Schemes atau MGS, and also Technopreneur Pre-Seed Fund Program. Okay, kita start pada the first scheme daripada MDEC ni, which is the MSc Malaysia R&D Grant Scheme ataupun MGS ya. So there is a total sum of 120 million ringgit for this scheme in order to support R&D within the MSc ataupun Multimedia Super Corridor. This scheme will provide 50% of approved total project cost ataupun 1.2 million ringgit, whichever of the both is lower, and the merits of each case will be the determinant for the amount of the grant to be approved. Okay, the second scheme daripada MDEC is Technopreneur Pre-Seed Fund Program. This program is targeted to local entrepreneurs whose ideas has been developed into a business plan and require further development to produce commercializable project with ready prototypes suitable for seed or startup funding. So once your idea has turned into a business plan, and you will be requiring further development of prototype to be commercialized, this fund program will help you thoroughly. So the size of funding is up to a maximum of 115,000 ringgit for development up to 12 months. Okay, project proposal eligible for consideration from the Technopreneur Pre-Seed Fund Program here. Could be fall under any of the following classes and qualifying activities, which are creative media and content development, software development, internet-based businesses, support services, shared service outsourcing, and hardware design. So, kalau you guys nak develop any of the software kan, you can go through this MDEC and finding out more on the Technopreneur Pre-Seed Fund Program. Amanlah tahu you want to venture into much more deep business. Okay. Mtdc investment criteria are focused on the following, which are non-ICT sector, focusing on life sciences sector, strategic technologies, high investment return, clear and defined business vision, and also credible management team. There are two types of financial assistance offered by Mtdc, which are venture capital funds and also special purpose government grants. Okay, so the first fund from the Mtdc is venture capital funds. So Mtdc invests in early growth and late stage strategy-based businesses in order to diversify its risk. The equity stake in any investment is limited to around 30% sahaja. So the investment horizon will be limited up to 5 years. So for Mtdc, there are another financing scheme that they offer, which is special purpose government grants. From the special purpose government grants, there are another fund here under this category, which are Technology Acquisition Fund, TAF, which facilitate the acquisition of strategic and relevant technology. Commercialization of R&D Fund, ataupun CRDF, provides partial grants to qualify R&D projects for commercialization. And then lastly is Technology Acquisition Fund for Women ataupun TFW, which provide partial grant to promote efforts by women entrepreneurs, assisting their companies to be at the technological forefront, which pursue market reach with their products or services. Okay, now moving on with the Mosti pula, funds offered by Mosti adalah Inno Fund, Techno Fund and also Content Fund. So Inno Fund ataupun EIF ya, Enterprise Innovation Fund assists individual or sole proprietor, micro and small business to develop new or improve existing products, process or services with elements of innovation for commercialization. So it provides fund for business to develop new or improve existing products to which the product involving innovation for commercialization. So the quantum ataupun maximum and duration of funding will be based on the merits of each application. Untuk individual RM20,000 dalam tempoh 12 bulan. Sole proprietor RM20,000 within 12 months, micro enterprise RM50,000 within 12 months, and small enterprise RM250,000 within 18 months. Okay, another fund for the Mosti. Okay, this is a continuation. Technology clusters to be considered under EIF is agriculture, information and communication technology, which is ICT, biotechnology, and also industry. So criteria for approval, innovativeness of project proposal, credibility of project proposal, appropriateness of methodology, appropriateness of milestone, commercialization prospect and financial capacity. Kalau you punya research proposal nanti ada all of these criteria, your research proposal is eligible enough to be approved. Okay, barulah move to the another fund, which is Techno Fund from the Mosti. Yeah, the Techno Fund ni to stimulate the growth and successful innovation of medium and large enterprises. Yeah, this will encourage the medium and large enterprises to grow immensely towards a successful innovation. So increase capability and capacity of Malaysian government research institutes, GRI, and institutions of higher learning IHL to undertake market-driven R&D and to commercialize the R&D findings through spin-off licensing. Remember, you dah cover spin-off licensing macam mana, and also to enhance global competitiveness and R&D culture among Malaysian medium and large enterprises. Okay, continuation of Techno Fund. Okay, ada two types of funding from Techno Fund, Type A and Type B. Type A is pre-commercialization, which is will fund up to a maximum of the total project cost of 5 million ringgit, whichever is lower. So 5 juta is the maximum. Yeah. Type B, IP acquisition, which is laboratory scale, funding up to a maximum of 100% of the total acquisition cost or 2 million ringgit, whichever is lower. So project eligible for considerations is agriculture, biotechnology, information and communication technology ICT, and also industry. Okay, moving on to the next one is the content fund from the Mosti. So kalau tadi more into the sciences, technology, ICT, this is more into the content. And this fund is especially created to develop content mainly for entertainment, training and learning, culture and heritage, and also information based. So the technology required is either in the form of animation, in form of games, simulation or virtual reality ataupun portal web-based. The content should be able to run on multiple platforms, either on the 3G or mobile phone, internet or other media such as PDA and TV. So allocation for this fund, quantum for team is up to 90,000 ringgit. For micro enterprises up to 500,000 ringgit, and for SME, besar sikit lah, up to 6 million ringgit. Okay, moving on with the next government financing scheme daripada SME Corporation Malaysia ataupun SME Corp. So daripada SME Corp they offer two types of grants, which is the first one is matching grant for business startups and also matching grant for product and process improvement. Okay. The first grant from the SME Corp, which is matching grant for business startups, existing is given in the form of matching grant, where 50% of the approved project cost is borne by the government and the remainder by the applicant. So scheme ni provide fund bila the government only cover 50% of the approved project cost, and the baki tu, the other 50% is borne by the applicant. So for enterprises in the manufacturing sector, incorporated under the Registration of Business Act 1956, assistance is given up to 80% of the approved cost. Lagi tinggi sikit lah. So the maximum grant allocated per application is 40,000 ringgit. Okay, from this grant, sector coverage includes manufacturing and manufacturing-related activities macam product or process development, software development, and product and process design. So eligible expenses incurred in starting up a business includes a preparation of business plan, related feasibility studies, rental of incubators and business premises up to 24 months, rental of equipment and machineries, development of prototype, product sample, and testing. Moving on with the next type of grant from the SME Corps, which is matching grant for product and process improvement. This scheme provides matching grant to SMEs for improvement and upgrading of existing products, product design and processes upgraded. So bila dia buat business, there is when you decided to improve your product, this is a good grant for your business. So assistance is given in the form of matching grant, where 50% of approved project cost is borne by the government and the remainder by the applicant. Tu yang masuk di matching grant tu, they support just 50% of the approved project total cost. And the maximum grant allocated per application is 500,000 ringgit. Okay, sector coverage from the matching grant, from this matching grant will include manufacturing and manufacturing related activities such as product or process development, software development, and product and process design. Eligible expenses incurred in starting up a business will include technology feasibility studies, fees for technology transfer, development of prototypes and system design, product testing, product registration, marking, and also labeling. Now ni macam conclusion lah, macam sum up everything that shows the agency and also its financing scheme. Okay, macam healthcare apa financing scheme dia, yang tadilah kita duk yang saya duk bebel tadi kan, mostly apa Mtdc apa, mostly SME Corporation Malaysia apa, ataupun kalau you nak go to detail, kalau you rasa slides ni not many information given, you can just Google it up Okay, now moving on with the debt versus equity. So debt financing involves a payback of funds plus an interest. Debt places a burden of repayment and interest on the entrepreneur. So in nature, debt financing can be in short terms or long term. Short term financing is what we call as accounts payable. It is an unsecured loan to which you own to creditors for the good or services that you bought beforehand. Bila dalam business, there are some of things that you macam borrow dulu before you could able to pay back. So usually considered as current liabilities as there is no collateral, but you still able to do financing for any daily activities for your business. Now, long-term financing pula is bonds. Bonds can be in mutual funds or can be in private investing, where a person would give a loan to a company. Right now, moving on with the equity finance. Equity financing involves the sale of some of the ownership in the venture. Equity financing forces the entrepreneur to relinquish some degree of control. So equity financing ni adalah process of you to raise capital through the sales of shares. So when your company needs a short term to pay bills, ataupun you might have a long term goal and require funds to invest in your growth, that you may consider selling your shares. Where you akan jual your punya ownership in your company in return for cash. Okay, in the extreme, the choice for the entrepreneur is either to take on debt without giving up ownership in the venture, or to relinquish a percentage of ownership in order to avoid having to borrow. In most cases, a combination of debt and equity prove most appropriate. So you may either decide of having debts for your business, since you nak protect you punya ownership, ataupun you sell some percentage of your ownership to avoid of having debt in your business. So the most appropriate one is to decide to have both, meaning to say debt and also equity in order to balance your financing. Yeah, this is to avoid of having too much debt and also losing most of the shares. That will be all for this chapter. Do you have any questions? Oh yes. Oh ni, dia letak dekat chat Okay, boleh. If you already gain the profit, but the problem is the willingness of that person to let go the ownership. Tu another story pula. Boleh je nak claim balik kalau they're willing to sell the ownership back to you. Tapi selalunya akan ada issues to that particular things lah, whether or not they are willing to give back the ownership to you. Okay. Alright, any other questions? Kalau tak ada, then can we have around 10 minutes break before we proceed with chapter 5, which is your blueprint chapter. Boleh ke? 11, 18. Okay, kami back dalam pukul 11.30 lah. Okay, shall we continue with the next chapter? Sekejap ya. Okay, boleh nampak ke slide ada keluar?
Boleh, Miss.
Alright. So this is one of the chapter that will guide your final group project, yeah, which consists of 35% of your assessment. Unit 5, technology-based business idea blueprint, TBIP. Why did ENT600 lecture will put chapter 5 last kali, not really last lah, about the last of the semester, because kalau explain awal-awal nanti you guys akan lupa. So kita bila nak buat assignments, then we're going to touch off with this chapter. So what is a technology-based business idea blueprint? A technology-based business idea blueprint is a detailed written document that describes what a new product want to accomplish. In other words, it provides a throughout explanation of your business from the beginning of a process till the end, in a written form. It is a detailed roadmap for converting ideas and vision into real, functioning, profitable, and viable product. So all the chapter that we have learned before, daripada how to get creativity inside of you, to get the greatest idea of all, to explore, evaluate the ideas, to explore and evaluate the opportunity, to figure out whether it is feasible and viable or not, till the end of the process, which is your business establishment. So that's what we call as the roadmap. Outline of blueprint. Most blueprint do not include all the elements shown in the sample blueprint format. We include them here for the purpose of completeness. So we're going to go through some of the sample or blueprint format here, and then if you see all of the elements provided here, we put it so that you can see the overall picture of what blueprint is all about. Each Technopreneur must decide which elements to include in his blueprint. So not necessarily when all the elements will be explained, you have to put all elements here in your blueprint. Tapi you must think which of the element is the important element in your blueprint. So it is your business. You need to say you are the one that know the best. So you have to make sure that it is not only you that understand what you're writing, but people who read it as well. Outline of technology-based business idea blueprint. The first one is the cover page here, which tell what your business is all about. Sample author of the blueprint, which is you and your team. Basically tells a bit of what you are going to tell the rest in the blueprint. So table of contents here, it's going to direct which content refer to which page, so that it is easily accessed when needed. You can easily turn the page to the content that you want to refer. The body of business blueprint is the elements in the blueprint. So dalam salah satunya adalah antaranya adalah executive summary, which is a preamble of your business, which also describes a sneak peek of your business, product or service description. It is a detail of your product or service, produk apa yang jual atau service apa yang you offer. Okay, technology description, what technology are you using and how you use it, how you acquire the technology. Market analysis and strategies, who is your target market, siapa dia target customer you, how are you going to penetrate the market, your strategies to market your product and also services. Management team, support system of your business, operation, stuff you. Function estimates, where your financial come from. You put your source of financial, how many you are going to spend for the cost and your other assets, how many profit you are expecting to gain it, and also your financial projection for at least next 3 years. What else? Project milestone here tells how many months for each of your activities needed. Conclusions, it is the ending part of your blueprint, and also appendices, other documents that could not fit in on your other elements. Macam you punya product prototype ke, you bubuhlah dalam you punya appendices. Okay, so kita pergi section by section of the content ataupun element of the blueprint, which is the first one adalah introduction sections. Cover page. The cover page should include the name of the company, its address, phone number, the data, and contact information for the Technopreneur. So make sure you mention nama you, nama team members you, the name of your business, your contact information. In this case, you will put di dalam cover page you punya matric normal student. Yeah, date of when your blueprint is prepared. Yeah. Table of contents included in the table of content is list of the sections, subsections, and any appendices, and the page numbers that can be found for easy reference. So I do believe that you are familiar with this TOC or from other of your assignments. So you do the same with this report. Okay. Okay, moving on with the executive summary. The executive summary gives a brief overview of what is to follow and helps put all the information into perspective. It provides a busy reader with everything that needs to be known about the venture's distinctive nature. So this section will highlight major points in the report. The purpose, a result, the conclusion, and recommendation are all summarized at this section. So it is advisable to write in just one page. Basically, executive summary ni adalah summarization of your business venture in one page, because you kena tahu yang whenever you do the blueprint, the one that read your blueprint is someone is very busy with their work. So diorang nak cepat nak tahu what is actually you trying to say in the report. Diorang akan baca dekat executive summary dahulu. So the summary includes some of the following, which is the brief description of the business and product concepts, the target market and projections, the competitive advantages, the profitability, and also the management team. When you're about to write executive summary, some of you tak tahu apa yang include ke dalam executive summary, you can refer back to this slide, yeah, which that you can include in the executive summary. It is generally advisable to write the executive summary last when all the details of the blueprint are available. So the executive summary content is written last, not written in the last part. Why the content is written at last? Because we need all of other details in each element in order for you to summarize it on one page. So jangan confuse dengan statement ni. Nampak macam laporan last tu, last sekali kot. Padahal executive summary, it's in the early page of your blueprint. Okay, the next section is the product or service description. Describe in some detail the product or service to be produced or sold. Yeah, tells you the proposal what are your product is all about, so the reader will get the idea of your business. This is what you have already written in your MPD report. So boleh saja paste balik dekat you punya blueprint. Discuss the applications of product or service and describe the primary end use as well as any significant secondary application. So, macam mana nak guna produk ni, macam mana produk ni berfungsi, ya. Let's say you want to sell a brandly new technology-based product which never had been introduced in the market before. So, bila tak pernah lagi diperkenalkan dalam pasaran, customer are not familiar with the product. So, you have to tell everything about the product in this section from the beginning till the end. So, kalau dia kata primary end use ataupun any significant secondary applications, let's say ada ke nak guna application smartphone application ke, is there any need to install applications macam smart home appliances ke, so you tell it here. Emphasize any unique features of the product or service and how these will create or add significant value. Also highlight any differences between what is currently on the market and what you will offer that will account for your market penetration. So apa yang buatkan you produk ni berlainan daripada competitors yang lain. So make your customer believe that your product will really help them solving the problem, that they will never regret of buying your product. Yang competitors product is nothing compared than yours. Okay, continuation. Define the present state of development of the product or service and how much time and money will be required to fully develop, test, and introduce the product or service. Provide a summary of the functional specifications and photographs, if available, of the product. So how your product is developed. From the beginning of the ideas, the process of developing the ideas, how long does it take to do research and development, is there any trial and error involved? You provide the summation of step by step for your product, and it is better if you provide a better with the details so we can see the development of your product. Describe any patterns or other proprietary features of the product or service. Adakah, is there any patterns or other proprietary features involved? Sebab you menggunakan teknologi, so you mentioned it here. Discuss any opportunities for the expansion of the product line or the development of related product or service. Since we want our business to be sustained in the industry, we need to make sure there is any expansion for the product, yeah, like any other solutions to the next product line. So let's say your new technology base is kita contohnya lah ya, flying bicycle. So yeah, macam merepekkan tapi we take it as one of the example kan. So you tell if your current product is flying bicycle, next probably you nak buat apa pula, expanding your product into invisible bicycle. Invisible bicycle mean to say panggil je basikal, basikal terus datang. So you tell it further about the opportunities of your product expansion. Okay, now the next section is technology descriptions. Yeah, areas to be covered are the key components related to the product or service or technology. What are the main components and important things for your product or services ataupun your technology? Research and development and the intellectual property involved. You explain how your research and development went throughout the process and if there are any intellectual property involved. Specialized knowledge and experience and skills involved. You explain the knowledge and experience and also skills involved in the process of the production. Regulations that may govern the use of the technology to deliver the product or service. Yeah, is there any regulations in terms of technology use in your product or services? Future technology and market trends forces. You explain the future technology and market trends that you think might happen. Right, now moving on with the next slide, which is market analysis and strategies. Information in this section needs to support the assertion that the product can capture a substantial market in growing industry and stand up to competition. So you have to provide detailed information on how you want to commercialize your product in the market. So what is your plan in penetrating the current market? Will it possible to do so? If not, are you trying to create a new market? Macam mana nak create a new market? So you provide a full plan for that. So in this section, you have to discuss under market analysis, which include customers. Customers are individuals or organizations who are willing to buy your product. Market size and trends, who is your target market? And what are the trends that is already in hit currently? So you already did it on the CTC and on the consumer trends. Competition, what are you competing? Who are you competing? And how are you planning to compete? Market share and sales, how many market share you are planning to own compared to the other existing competitors and also your target sales. And lastly is your market strategy. Macam mana you're going to sell your product in an overall approach. Okay, now we're going to one by one of the subsections under the market analysis and strategies. We will go with the customers first, Discuss who the customers for the product or service are or will be. Potential customers need to be classified by relatively homogeneous groups having common identifiable characteristics, for example, by major market segments. Why we need segmenting the market? By segmenting market, we can actually provide higher value to customers by deciding a market mix that addresses specific needs. Usually kita nak segment the market, contohnya by your lifestyle macam eating and drinking habits ataupun shopping habits ataupun preferred types of stores and retail venues, clothing and fashion trends, and description of how can customers spend their leisure and recreation time. So we can see now this market is conquered by the generation whom are pleasure seekers. They are more interested in collecting experiences value rather than material goods. So it is no more about the price, but the emotional connection they feel about the price. So here you really need to be clever enough to segment your market well. Show who and where the major purchases for the product or service are in the market segment. Include national regions and foreign countries as appropriate. Okay, take for example tadi, kalau nak jual basikal, flying bicycle, you may target your market based on income. Selain daripada income, nak target apa lagi? You may target for those who like cycling. Kalau nak buat dekat mana? Orang Klang Valley. Kenapa kat Klang Valley? You would say because the sky is clearer for you to cycle in the air. Contoh indicates whether customers are easily reached and receptive, how customers buy. Dalam bentuk wholesale ke, through manufacturer representative ke. So here you explain how a customer can reach the product ya. Now, online shopping juga boleh make customer reach your product anywhere they are, but you have to make sure you will cover the delivery area. Next thing you need to do under this market analysis and strategy is market size and trends. So show the size of the current total market and the share you will have by market segment and origin and a country for the product or service you will offer in units, ringgit and potential profitability. Let's say you ada 3%. You have three competitors. Company A, which owns 45% of market share, company B, which owns 30%, and company C, which owns 25%. So after you join the market, you decide how many share you plan to own. Let's say you decide to have 10% of the share. So basically you take the shares from other competitors. So their market share will also get lessened. Describe also the potential annual growth of total market for your product or service for each major customer group, region or country as appropriate. So how many potential annual growth of total market for your product by doing some market estimation. Discuss the major factors affecting the market growth, for example, industry trends, socio-economic trends, government policy and population shift. So what are the things that may affect your market growth? If there is new government regulation, contohnya that limited certain ingredients that should be included in your product, then this may affect your market growth. So all estimates are often done for a 3-year period. Usually you do a 3-year estimation for your business proposal. Okay. Banyak sikit lah kat market analysis and strategy. Next things you need to do is competition and competitive edges. Make realistic assessments of the strengths and weaknesses of competitors. So you can do this by doing a SWOT analysis that you think fit the best for your competitors, so that you can see clearly how their business is currently doing. Compare competing and substitute products or services on the basis of market share, quality, price, performance, delivery, timing, service warranties, and other pertinent features. So based on the analysis you did, try to figure out what are the possible substitute products or services. Compare the fundamental value that is added or created by your product or service in terms of economic benefits to the customer and to your competitors. So contohnya, your competitors jual basikal, traditional bicycle sekarang ni. So ada juga yang menjual electrical bicycle. So you added a new fundamental value which sells a flying bicycle. Discuss the current advantages and disadvantages of these product services and say why they are not meeting customers' needs. So what are the things that is good the product will offer and things that are not good for the product has offered, and why are those things could not satisfy your customers' needs. Okay, moving on with the next one is the estimated market share and sales. Yeah, estimate estimate the share of the product in the terms of percentage, the sales in the units and ringgit that you will acquire in each of the next 3 years based on your assessment of the advantages of your product or services, the market size and trends, customers, competitors, and their production. So the estimation of your market share must be based on your advantages of your product or services. Ya, apa yang buatkan produk ini berbeza, ya, what make it different than the other existing products, ya, must be based on the market size and trends. Yeah, how big your market size is and how the trend currently conquering the customers. So also must be based on customer itself. Yeah, siapa you punya potential customer. Must also be based on competitors and their products. What makes your product shine more and stand strong? Yeah, that may compete the existing product by your competitors. So you have to show the assumptions used. Okay, moving on with the marketing strategy. In the marketing strategy section, show how the product are going to fit into a marketplace. So how are you going to make everyone aware of your product? Yeah, how do you want to make it fit into your targeted market? So, macam mana nak buat? You may use the most important components of 4 Ps. Yeah. So there are 4 important components of marketing strategy that are called the 4 Ps, also known as marketing mix, which is product, price, place, atau distribution, and also promotion. So this is the most preferred and basic marketing mix that you can use. So sekarang ni, many company have actually go for 7 Ps. Daripada price, product, promotion, and place, they go for another added 3 Ps, which are people, process, and also physical evidence. So more advanced because to the company 4Ps ni tak cukup ya untuk market their products. Tapi untuk project you ni janganlah advance sangat. 4P dah cukup. So no need to strategize for another 3Ps. Poor strategy regarding even one of the 4Ps can lead to business failure. So you have to make sure all 4Ps are well strategized. If you fail to set the price well, you akan fail even you punya product is well accepted by the customer, even your product is as well large, ataupun even you did commercial your product well. Okay. Okay, now we're moving on with the marketing strategy, which is overall strategy. So describe the specific marketing philosophy and strategy of the company. So what are marketing philosophy? Yeah? It is basically the philosophy of business use in order to identify and also fulfill the needs of its customers. Yeah, yang that benefit customers and also companies. So it consists of the production, the product, the selling, the marketing, and also the societal marketing. So example of production marketing philosophy is Henry Ford, founder creator Ford tu kan. So before him, because they were not mass production of cars, the cars were extremely expensive, sebab they were made by hand, guna tangan and take ages to build. So Ford ni realised everyone perlukan kereta, everyone needed cars, be it those who have money or not. And then decided to make them widely available. So nak cakap Henry Ford ni is not the one who invented the philosophy. Dia adalah antara orang yang menggunakan production marketing philosophy. So another philosophy is product marketing philosophy. So example of product marketing philosophy is Apple. So Apple ni for years they keep on working on their models and they end up come up with new features that convince their customers to stay. So you tahu kan Apple are very expensive product, but you don't get just any kind of product. You could get the most cutting edge technology. This is the value that customers end by purchasing Apple. So if the production and product marketing philosophy tadi is all about the product, selling marketing philosophy pula is focused on the promotion of the products because the customer will not buy the products if they are not being advertised. So out of the marketing philosophy, this one is probably used the most in marketing nowadays. This is probably because it's hard to sell anything nowadays without knowing your target audience really well and also appealing to them. That's why this marketing philosophy places importance on the customer and their wants and also needs. So another one is societal marketing philosophy, which this philosophy is all about knowing your customers' needs while also caring about the well-being of the society and the environment. Contohnya, with all the population issues yang kita ada ni, that we have, so in the past few months and climate change being in a full swing, it is important that your business shows that you care about these issues, because if you seem like you didn't care, you might lose a lot of customers. Well, most of the customers sekarang are more into the environmental conscious. Okay, include for example a discussion of the types of customer groups that you are targeting for initial intensive selling effort, those that you are targeting for later selling effort. So if you are selling smartphone, you targeted to technology savvy customer group. Now banyak generation dah guna generation ini. Kita pun some of them dah gunakan smartphone Now it has widely used, so your target customer have changed to bigger one. Bukan saja targeted to savvy customer group, but also the other customer group. Okay, market strategy in terms of pricing. The pricing of your product is the fee that will be charged to the customer. So how many you're going to charge for your product, usually based from the production costs yang incurred throughout the process. Price is a function of your cost, competition and customers. Your customers must have the desire, willingness and ability to pay for your product or services. So no matter how low or how you set the price, your customer mesti ada rasa willingness to pay for your product. So having a lower price does not mean necessarily good, because nanti your customer will question about the quality of your product. Okay, pricing can be determined by considering the cost of producing the product. So how much your production cost for producing the product, so you can determine the price from there. The competitors' prices, what is the price of product your competitors offered in the market, and the value of the product based on how people perceive the product in many situations. So if you decided to put the price high and it's considered expensive, why is that so? So you may mention because of the technology used that require expensive R&D and so forth. Okay, what else here? Marketing strategy in terms of service and warranty policy. In addition to the description of the product, as part of product strategy, describe if your company will offer product that will require service, warranties, or training. So service and warranty policy is what we call as after service sales, yeah, which refers to all the things you do for the care of your valued customer. Lepas tu orang beli you punya product. Indicate the importance of these service and warranties to customers' purchasing decisions and discuss your method of handling service problems. If any problem arises to the products after your customer purchase, you can plan on how are you going to solve them. Sama ada nak replace dengan with new one ke, ataupun if there is any defect or provide a repair service. So it is actually up to you to think what kind of solution you can offer that corresponding with your budget. Highlight the kind and term of any warranties to be offered, whether service will be handled by company service people, agency, dealers and distributors, or returned to the factory. So you have to describe in detail how your customer is going to receive the service and warranty policy during the purchasing phase. Okay, advertising and promotion. Promotion is the activity of informing, persuading, and influencing the consumer's purchase decisions. So this is the phase where you want to let people know your product, and you have to make sure you are able to persuade and influence your consumers' purchase decision. You have to explain how your customers need your product here to solve their problem, ataupun even you have to trigger them to buy your product so that no problem will arise in the future. These are methods you choose to communicate to your target market to obtain your sales projections. Okay, so networking between the company, the product, and the customer so that you will meet your sales projections. So you need a well-defined plan of action that includes the timing, cost, and expected return of the chosen promotional methods. So it is a proper structured plan so that your promotional methods will not become purposeless. So describe the approaches the company will use to bring its product or service to the attention of prospective buyers and persuade them to buy the product or services. Yeah, macam mana you want to approach your customers, yeah, for them to buy your product. Right, example of advertising and promotion. The promotion might include billboards. Yeah, everyone is familiar with the billboards. Kalau balik kampung tu nampak lah macam-macam billboards yang ada kiri kanan. Business cards, yeah, cards that bear your business information yourself. Ada bar spots and shelters. Newspapers. Newspaper is like traditional way of doing the advertising. Contests, coupons. If you decided to do newspaper, you have to know also your target market. If your target market is not a vivid reader of the newspapers, dia akan jadi macam salah dia punya purpose of promoting your product on the newspapers. So direct mail, flyer, giveaways, internet banner advertising, magazine, personal selling, radio, sound sponsor and event, television, trade magazine, trade shows, write an article, yellow super pages. Yellow super pages pun it's very like traditional ways of doing the advertising. Okay, now moving on with the distribution, the elements of a firm's distribution strategy, including such consideration as the selection of the appropriate distribution channel, the determination of the degree of market coverage, and the selection of the best modes of transportation. So you have to select the most suitable distribution channel for your business. Where you want to cover to sell your product. What is your mode of transportation? Nak guna van, nak guna lori ke, nak guna kapal ke? Describe the methods and channels of distribution you will employ. For example, own sales force, sales representative, direct mail, or distributors that will be used to match sales and distribute the product or services. So distribution channel mana yang nak gunakan, macam mana you nak guna, will it be direct to the customers or you're going to use retailer then direct to the customers, or you're going to link to wholesale affairs before going to the retailer, then customer, you decide which is the best for your business. Okay, next section and the body of the blueprint is management team. Yeah, this section includes a description of the function that will need to be fixed. So explain what is the function needed in your company. Nak guna ada administration team ke, nak ada financial team ke, nak kena marketing team ke. So what is the most important things that needed to smooth your business operation. A description of the key management personnel and their primary duties. So what is the job description of the management team, yeah, and what are the things that they need to do within their job scope. An outline of the organizational structure for the venture. So make an organizational structure so that we can see clearly who is belong to which duties of the business. Description of the board of directors. Describe who are the board directors from your company, how are they chosen as board directors, and based on what criteria. A description of the ownership position of any other investors and so forth. So who else own the company? Ada investors lain ke? You mention it there. You need to present indications of commitment, such as the willingness of team members to initially accept modest salaries and of the existence of the proper balance of technical, managerial, and business skills and experience in doing what is proposed. So basically, who are the one who are willing to endure the pain and celebrate the success together with contributing the talents and skills in operating tips. Tak kisah pun kalau awal gaji tu sikit, as long as the nampak the business is going to successful. Okay, in the management team, ada subsection that one of it is organization. Present the key management roles in the company and the individuals who will fill each position. So what is the most important things in managing the business and who are the one that fits with each position. If it's not possible to fill each executive role with a full-time person without adding excessive overhead, indicate how these functions will be performed. Contohnya, using part-time specialists or consultants to perform some functions, who will perform them and when they will be replaced by a full-time staff members. Okay, let's say you have a certain criteria for the financial position.
I have rapped in a program I did, a Weird Weekends episode about rap.
Can you remember any of the rap that you did?
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure. It makes me wanna dribble dribble. You know, riding in my Fiat, you really have to see it. 6'2" in a compact, no slack. But luckily the seats go back. I got a knack to relax in my mind, sipping some red wine. Nice. I have rapped in a program I did, a Weird Weekends episode about rap.
Can you remember any of the rap that you did?
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure. It makes me wanna dribble dribble. You know, riding in my Fiat, you really have to see it. 6'2" in a compact, no slack. But luckily the seats go back. I got a knack to relax in my mind, sipping some red wine.
Can you remember any of the rap that you did?
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure. It makes me wanna dribble dribble. You know, riding in my Fiat, you really have to see it. 6'2" in a compact, no slack. But luckily the seats go back. I got a knack to relax in my mind, sipping some red wine. program I did, a Weird Weekends episode about rap.
Can you remember any of the rap that you did?
Zirul,
Money don't jiggle.
Tolonglah, Miss. Sambung slide. Disconnected. Ah.
Jiggle, it folds. I'd like to see you wiggle, wiggle, for sure. Make me wanna dribble, dribble. You know, riding in my Fiat, you really have to see it. 6 feet 2 in a compact, no slack. But luckily the seats go back. I got a nap to relax.
Makan ke?
Sama bilik pun tanya.
Member tengah cuti lagi tu bang.
Oh,
Tak ada dalam bilik.
Oh, sorry.
Azim. Good.
Right, sambung Let's say you have the certain criteria for the financial position. Contoh macam you want someone has 5 years experience in banking sector and another 3 years in logistic company. Lepas tu, bila you have this kind of criteria and you realize that no one is fitted enough for the position. So you should come up with the plan. Contohnya macam nak hiring an outsource ke while waiting for the right person to fill in the job. Okay, and then moving on with the key management personnel. For each key person, describe in detail career highlights, particularly relevant know-how, skills, and track record of accomplishments that demonstrate his or her ability to perform the assigned role. So let's say if you open up a marketing position, so you need to describe what are the things that people who fill in the job should do. So they must have contohnya at least 3 years experiences, dah pernah deal with many new product involvement, know how to do market research, know how to do a market strategy, and the list goes on. So describe the exact duties and responsibilities of each of the key members of the management team. So practically, you have to be as detailed as you can in describing what are your key members of the management team should do and what are their duties and responsibilities so that they know what are their job scope.
I have rapped in a program I did, a Weird Weekends episode.
So state the salary to be paid, the share ownership plan, and the amount of equity investment, if any, of each member of the management team. Yeah, so berapa banyak salary yang diorang dapat? Is there any plan of giving some share of ownership? Will you give any amount of the equity investment to each key member of your management team or not? So indicate the supporting services that will be required. So what are the supporting services that will be required? Do you need any outsourcing for your business? Any financial consultancy for your business? Indicate the names and
People love Tommy
affiliations of
Shelby.
the legal, accounting, advertising, consulting, and banking advisors selected for your venture and the services each will provide. So who are those supporting services that you choose for your business? You have to list them all in your business proposal. Okay, now next is the financial estimate. Sound financial management is one of the best ways for the business venture to remain profitable and solvent. In this section, think through some of the general issues you will have to address in your formal profit, meaning to say you punya production costs, you punya financial projections. To effectively manage your venture finances, plan a sound realistic budget by determining the actual amount of money needed to start your venture, start cost, and the amount needed to keep it open, which is working capital or operating cost. So how many assets have you bought? What are the non-assets involved? Ataupun what are the costs incurred during the process of production? So every money's in and out, it should be well recorded throughout the year. Okay, financial estimation in terms of one-time startup costs. Estimate the cost incurred in conjunction with one-time activities that the venture undertakes. Sekali saja the cost will be undertaken. So, one-time activities includes when opening a new facility. It doesn't necessarily like every year you want to change your new facility. It will incur more costs. So, you will use one-time costs only. Introducing a new product and services, which in this time of introduction, mostly it takes like probably 6 to 7 years for you will come up with the new product or services. Conducting business in a new territory or with a new class of customer or beneficiary, initiate the new process in an existing facility, commencing new operation after considerable research and discussion. Okay, now working capital. Working capital represents the amount of initial expenditure required to finance the daily operation until the business gets its first sale. So in simplest word, you punya model business, how many startup working capital that you need so that throughout the process, you'll be able to cover them until the first sale is gained. So the amount of working capital is therefore dependent upon the period until the firm can generate enough sales to cover its short-term expenditure. Now, startup capital and financing. Total startup capital incorporates both on-time startup costs and working capital needed to start a project. So the most common source of finance for new venture is the Technopreneur's own equity contribution. Lagi senangnya, dia punya duit sendiri, punya saving sendiri. So equity distribution means any distribution of equity, like money from the member of ownership. The equity contribution can be in the form of cash or assets. The next most common source of finance is term loan by most commercial banks. The term loan can be used to finance fixed assets as well as working capital requirements. The interest rate and loan period depend on the current interest rate and the amount of loan required respectively. So any loans that can react as the financial fund for your working capital. The next thing is the project milestones. The milestones schedule section provides readers with a timetable for the various activities to be accomplished. So each activity that needed throughout the process of your business. Contohnya macam preparation of your blueprint, application for grant if there is any, grant approval, prototype development, prototype testing, final prototype, and documentation of the final prototype. So this section includes a month-by-month schedule that shows the deadlines or milestones of activities critical to the venture's success. So how long do you need to finish each of activities? So let's say for preparation of your blueprints, you will need 5 months. So application for grants will need 2 months. Grant approval needs 3 months. So prototype development needs 2 months. Contoh prototype testing needs another 2 months. Final prototype needs a month, and the documentation of the final prototype needs 2 months. So total of months needed for your business activities are 14 months. So example of project milestone, example of activities that are critical to the success of the venture and can be used as project milestones are incorporation of the venture, completion of design and development, completion of prototypes, obtaining of sales representative, signing of distributors and dealers, ordering of materials in production quantities, starting of production operations, receive of first orders, delivery of first sales. So kalau rasa macam tak kena dengan you punya project, tak payah masukkan. This is just one of the examples. Okay, conclusion appendices, conclusions, and with a brief conclusion of the main parts of the blueprint. So the conclusions can include your decision on how you want to do and proceed next. You can also come up with a statement that proves the viability of your proposed business, where later you can look for grant ataupun loan punya approval. So appendices, you semua tahu lah appendices ni apa any material that does not easily fit in the body of a blueprint should appear in appendix. So example of include resumes of the top management team members, photos or diagrams of product or product prototypes, certain financial data and market research projections. So ensure you buat all of these appendices. Mesti ada salah satu pun tak apalah appendices dekat you punya blueprint. Okay, so these are all the references that you can refer. That will be all for chapter 5. Okay, before that, I would like to show you the several projects that have been done by your senior so that you can see. Yeah, it is basically just to give you some clear picture on how they did it and how you can actually do it. Saya share.
Created using Powtoon.
Okay, the last video that I'm going to show you, it's basically just how you can start using ataupun like tips of you can write a business plan.
If you're thinking of starting a business, you should know how to write a business plan. It is usually observed that despite having a great startup idea, most businesses are not successful. According to common statistics, within the first 5 years of operation, 90% of businesses fail, and of the remaining 10%, only 1 out of 10 businesses last past the first 5 years. So what makes some businesses fail while others prosper? There may be several reasons, including, but not limited to, poor customer service, poor logistics and cost management, and inadequate product. But the major reason is the lack of a business plan. Business plans help define goals and achieve them. If you take out time to set concrete but achievable goals and chart a plan to success, it can help you realize your dream and make your business flourish. I have compiled an all-inclusive list of areas that need to be considered while writing a business plan. These will help you in defining your goals and the path your business needs to take to achieve them. Step 1. Define your vision. When you start a business, you have a clear goal in mind. You know exactly what you wish to achieve with your business. However, after some time, the clarity of your vision will become blurred, and you'll forget some of your brilliant ideas. Writing down your vision for the company will help you to define it, and moreover, it will help your staff identify with the mission. All daily activities of the business can then be aligned with your vision for the business. This should be the first step of writing a business plan. Step 2. Set your goals and objectives for the business. Never assume that your goals need to be small to accommodate your limitations. Think big. Clearly define your short-term goals, the ones that you wish to achieve within 12 months, mid-term goals, those that will take between 2 to 3 years, and long-term goals. Consider all aspects such as the revenue you wish to generate, number of outlets you want, the number of customers you need in your database, the target population, and age groups, as well as the amount of passive income that needs to be generated in future. Step 3. Define your unique selling proposition. What is it about you that is different from the crowd? Your unique selling point or USP will make you more attractive to potential customers. How is your product or service different from others in the market? It could be anything from additional services to personalized customer service. You can even offer them better after-sales warranty and support. While writing a business plan, you just need to highlight the extras that your customers are getting from you to make your business stand out. Step 4. Know your market. It often happens that you have a brilliant idea, but someone else has already started a business with a similar plan. This is a very common occurrence, but you should not let this stop you. How many petrol stations are there? Several businesses can provide the same service and still survive, as the marketplace is huge and it can sustain multiple businesses. But for this, you should know your market like the back of your hand. Research and find out how many competitors you have, what services they offer, what are the current and future trends of the industry. Know the larger picture. Are there certain benchmarks that can be used to gauge your business performance, such as gross turnover, profit margins, etc.? Once you know the inner workings of the market, you can manipulate them in your favor. This is an important part of learning how to write a business plan. Step 5. Know your customer. This goes without saying. Customers are the most important part of any business, and you should know the customers your business caters to. Today, customers are spoiled for choice, and they have thousands of options for every product. So, if you want them to buy your product, you should know what your ideal customer wants. This is the reason why you need to define your target populations and research their habits while writing a business plan. Understanding the motivation behind customers' actions can make your business successful. you can focus on the areas that grab your customers' interest and stop wasting energy on the rest. Put yourself in their shoes and then think what would make them choose you each time. Write down the ideas and implement them. Step 6. Research the demand for your business. You must have studied the demand and supply curve. Even if you haven't, it stands to logic that there should be ample demand for your product. Find out the demand before investing in a new business. The basic rule is demand should be more than supply. If this holds true for your market, your business will thrive. But if the demand is less than the supply, your business will eventually die out. So do your homework and gather as much information as you can. You can do a secondary search right from your home over the internet or your public library. You can even visit government offices for this information. But by far, the best option is primary research, where you directly interact with your target audience to know their preferences and how ready they are to buy your product. So hit the road and note down all the interesting ideas you get to increase the demand. Be smart and invest your life savings only after ascertaining that there is a demand for your product. Step 7. Set your marketing goals. So you have finished the research and defined your business vision. The next step in writing a business plan is setting up marketing goals. These are those goals that define how your product would look like, what it will cost, how you'll distribute it, and the ways in which you can promote it. Most businesses do plan this, but they neglect the most important areas. You should set up measurable marketing goals that will help achieve your primary business objectives. Questions like the number of products you'll sell, what will be your product development strategy, your price margins, delivery methods, and promotion plan should be duly considered. When you ask yourself these questions, they will help define the goals for marketing your business. Step 8. Define your marketing strategy. Now that you have your marketing goals, you need a plan to achieve them. How many products you need to produce and sell, and at what profit margin so as to get your desired revenue. What will be your system of delivery and your coverage area? What will be the strategies to promote your business? The media that you will use. Be very specific, as these will translate to action and your ultimate success or failure. Plan for every eventuality while writing a business plan. This is a very vital step of writing a business plan, so acquaint yourself with it so that you can easily navigate through each point. Step 9. Take action. And of course, without action, all else is a waste. This is the most important part of writing a business plan. You can plan all you want, but unless you do the actual work and bring customers to your storefront, you won't earn anything. Even if you find that according to the business plan, your idea isn't viable, don't give up. There are thousands of other ideas out there, and you can ultimately find one that suits you. If you wish to be wealthy, healthy, and happy, there is a business waiting for you to grab it. Your business plan will provide the direction and focus, but you will need to take the first step. Writing a business plan isn't difficult if you know what you should focus on. You now have an idea of what is important and how you should tackle the task of writing a business plan. And you are now better equipped to start a successful business. Start your research today. Jot down all those brilliant ideas, set your goals, define a path, and don't let anyone stop you. Now you know how to write a business plan, and the mantra for success is in your hands. Make the best of it.
Okay, so do you have any questions for this chapter, blueprint? Okay, so if there is no questions, can we end our class today? Ada. Samira, yeah. Itu saya akan explain dekat discussion nanti. That's why I would do the discussion, because I do believe that you takkan clear about that part. Okay, so nanti I will share the recording so that you can listen to the recording and also relate to the slides that I'm going to share you on the next class, so that you would, kalau still tengok recording pun tak faham, then you can ask me later. Okay, is there any other questions? Okay, if there is no other questions from the rest of you, that will be all for today. There will be no exercises. You can have take a rest, baru je submit assignment semalam kan. So if you want to proceed with the discussion, probably nak ada brief a bit about how you want to start with your blueprint, you may do so. Tapi kalau nak rehat for hari ni pun boleh, tak ada masalah. But don't forget to fit in the attendance, yeah. That will be all for today. Thank you for joining my class. Inshallah we seeing each other next week. Yeah, thank you everyone. Assalamualaikum.
Assalamualaikum.